Well, hello to everyone out there in Chaos, USA. I hope everyone's staying safe. I was going to do a brief Chinese facial reading on a few images that I came across with credit to Mr. Andy. I won't attempt to pronounce his last name because I will probably mispronounce that, but um, he's like a um, independent journalist or something, but he has been covering BLM and Antifa since all this stuff started well over a year now. And allegedly, he was brutally attacked while live streaming. And I believe that I saw a tweet or something that he said that he had actually fled the country due to death threats, I guess, by Antifa, BLM. And I came across these four images which he actually put up, and I looked at these photos and I was like, wow, I have to do a facial reading on these four people. The first photo is really caught my attention. The fourth photo really caught my attention, but all four of these images have some things going on. I'm not sure if these names here are in order of the way the images will appear. I was kind of having a difficult time figuring out which individual was Michael Charging Hawk. I think I may know it might be the last image, but I have to take a guess at it because that individual kind of has that I don't know what the word they're using these days, unisex, non-binary, something. Anyways, kind of reminded me of if anybody saw that last interview with the Hell Bop group that did the mass suicide, they all had that gender non-specific look. Yeah, that video is still available on YouTube. But it was sometimes hard to tell if these people were a man or a woman. But you'll see what I'm getting to when I get to that last image. But I'm going to start out with this. I do not know if these individuals are actually affiliated with BLM or Antifa. Um, what I will say is that those two organizations were created in order to blur the lines of actually those two ideologies, or it is a way of confusion of blurring the lines with those two groups, and there is a reason behind that, not but I won't go into it right now. But let me just jump right in on this first image here. Now, since when you're reading a face from an image, it is very difficult because a lot of times people are wearing makeup, which will cover the lines, the wrinkles, the moles, the birthmarks. So for that reason, I focus on the shin area, which is this area right here, which is below the eyebrows and just at the beginning of the bridge of the nose. That is the shin area. And just right off the bat, looking at this image of this individual, I don't know if you can see it or not, but that blank, void look in the shin area, there, there's nothing there. That shin area is dull. And I will say this: there can be different reasons for that. In ancient Chinese facial reading, the shin will not come into the body um, if it's not comfortable with her, and it could be for different reasons. It could be for health reasons. It could be for different reason. But that goes along with the philosophy of Chinese facial reading. So, having said that, um, this person has some deep psychological problems, and relating to these piercings, this often is connected with self mutilation. And there are some parts of the world in their cultures that actually believe any type of piercing is, and especially in ancient Chinese facial reading, if you think along the lines of acupuncture, which is not my forte here, but when you get a piercing, it's actually either opening or blocking an energy flow to another part of the body. So, but having said that, this here to me would indicate definitely um, some problems with self mutilation, and that total blank void in this shin. It is very obvious. Okay, let me move on to the next image. Now, this one here, this is where, like, when I'm trying to figure out really which one is Michael Charging Hawk, this is where it gets difficult because a lot of these individuals, for me, it's kind of hard to tell, honestly. And no disrespect to each his own. I'm not getting at that in a critical way. I'm just saying it's hard to tell some of these people's gender. She definitely looks like a female, but one thing I will point out since I came back to this image is this: when you see something like this where one eye is looking in a different direction than this, in Chinese facial reading, that is called gu, which is translated literally into ghost. So this would indicate that this person very well may have more than one spirit in her beside her own. Not to say that many of us probably don't, but I'm just saying on this analysis, this one is more prominent. Not sure if this is a male or a female and what name goes with it. Um, but again, if you look at the shin area, there's nothing happening there. It's just void. And you have the bulging eye. Now, the bulging eye there, you can also see that this eye is looking in a different direction, and it indicates that this other spirit is in control of at least some aspects of this individual's life. See if I can move on to the next one. Okay, this one. Now, I really wish. Photos are hard to read, and the makeup thing, it all makes it very difficult. But you can get a lot from the shin area, and to be redundant, that's what I focus on because they are wearing makeup, and from a photo, it is not that easy to identify wrinkles and stuff unless it's very pixelated. But there, do you notice this blankness here, this void? There is like nothing happening there. It's just, there's just nothing. I mean, there may be a lot going on. It just is not connected like to this individual or something. But anyways, I'm gonna skip right ahead to the fourth one. This one. This one got my attention. If the first one didn't, this one did. Now, if we're going in the order of the names that Mr. Andy put up, this would be possibly Michael Charging Hawk. I'll let you be the judge of that. I can't tell if this is a male or a female, but one of these people obviously have a male name, at least in American terms. This image here got me. I gotta tell you, and we're looking at the shin area, okay, below the eyebrows, right to the uh, right above the bridge of the nose. Right off the bat, the bulging eye, and it's looking in a different direction, definitely indicating goo. And there is something that I will say about this image relating to the shin area. This person shin is not as dull as the others, and is actually a little bit brighter, but you can't go by that because people can have a bright shin and be still psychotic. In ancient Chinese facial reading, when you see all of this white in between the iris, the color of the eye, and the bottom of the eyelids, do you see all this space? That and you're each this individual actually has some above the eye also. In ancient Chinese facial reading, this indicates a very, very, very dangerous person. And this bulging eye looking off into a different direction, there is somebody else driving that vehicle, and it is not her. I'm not, and I'm thinking, besides I, based on an analysis of ancient Chinese facial reading and the whiteness around the eyes, when you have sometimes the whiteness will be, of course, on both sides. Sometimes the whiteness will be on the bottom. Sometimes it can be on the top. When you have four areas of whiteness, the person would be considered very, very, very dangerous. This is an analysis. There is, this reminds me of the clown guy a number of years ago that shot up that theater with the orange hair. if there's still any images available on the net, because they are actively getting rid of all of that stuff. But if you can find an image of that guy when he was sitting in the courtroom, that first appearance, his eyes were the same way, this bulging white eyes. When I first looked at him, I thought to myself, that that individual is highly medicated, which he very well could have been. But there's also another component that goes with this. And if I had to take an educated guess with this, the bulging eyes like this, the wide eyes, this would indicate mind control, which is what I actually thought with the clown guy with that orange hair that allegedly shot up that theater some years back. This type of this type of gaze, this um, you know, wide-eyed type shin around with the eyes. This is like, for me, and I look at it, I would say that this person had some type of trauma based mind control. This person here is definitely not driving the vehicle that it's in, the original spirit. There, this person here is has been fragmented. And the interesting thing about a lot of this, for over a year now, these people have been arrested, charged, and released without bail. And there could be a lot to be said about that, and I'm not going to go into that in this video, but there are most of these people that are burning, looting, and attacking law enforcement officers are released without bail. When have you ever heard of that? Somebody being released without bail, maybe released on your own recognizance or something, but not after you've already attacked a law enforcement officer or burnt down a building or something. There's more to that, which I would not get into, but I'm very aware of what that's all about. But going back to this individual, there's a problem with the identity here, and this is where trauma-based mind control will come in. And there some people call it splintering, but it's where the mind is subjected to trauma, and at the time of trauma, this is when programming can be introduced without the person's knowledge. They're not even aware of it until they get triggered. But just based on an analysis of these eyes on this individual, I would say this person is programmed and very, 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 very dangerous, and is can be triggered through a color, a tone, a different methods. Could be a scent, for that matter. But looking at this, I'm saying this person is definitely under mind control. Um, Who put her into that? Who knows? And I won't go into that. But it does appear that if you can't see it, I would be very surprised, um, because th- this person is under the control of others and incredibly dangerous, incredibly dangerous, uh, bordering on psychotic, sociopathic type of psychosis, but very dangerous. I, if it's the way it has been happening with all these others that have been arrested and booked and charged and released without bail, I would guess this person is out on the streets, making an assumption there, I don't know. But these are the type of people that are rampaging through U.S. cities currently, and there is no doubt that this individual should be looked into because, very dangerous person, very dangerous individual. The wide-eyed, the wide-eyed expression that you see that a lot of times in trauma victims. Um, the unfortunate thing about it with trauma based mind control is that the individual would not even know that they are under mind control because it is, segmented off. But it can be pulled out by their handler, at any given time, and it's instantaneous. Like I said, a certain word, a certain color, a tone, that other personality will come forward, but this individual very likely is not even aware of it. But should you run into this individual on the street, I would get the hell out of there as fast as you could, because all this white around this eye like that, dangerous, very psychotic. Anyways, that is it on this video. I hope everybody stays safe out there, and keep your eyes and ears open. Stay safe and have a blessed day. This is the end of the transmission.